Hi, my name is James, and in this group we have Daniel, Arif, and Yi. Today in this presentation, we will be further expanding on the literature reviews and action research protocols that we explored individually in Assessment 2. Additionally, in this video, we will outline our proposed action research, where the design is informed by the synthesis of our individual literature reviews and synthesis of our individual data protocols.
The overarching topic that we decided on a group is how does individualized learning increase student engagement? We as a group decided to take on this topic because we knew that student engagement is a challenging problem that many teachers are facing every day in the classroom, especially in this day and age. We also discussed that student engagement was also something that was quite relevant to not only our own key learning areas that we would teach, but to all teaching areas.
In exploring our individual topics in the scope of our main topic, we all found that overall, personalized instruction and learning has a positive effect on student engagement. Furthermore, we have found that students that have higher level of engagement in class have improvement in their educational success overall. Our individual topics include: does personalized instruction increase student engagement? How does a student's socio-economic background affect engagement? How does using a student background language increase student engagement in class? How can teachers improve personalized learning?
The intervention was to try to increase student engagement. This was done by identifying the personal needs of the students and creating individualized teaching methods for each student and class. Research that was carried out demonstrated that increased student participation saw an increase in results as well as student engagement and retention. We looked at students' ability with ICT, student background, language skills, and the teacher's ability to implement personalized teaching in order to measure success for student engagement. By understanding this, it allows teaching instructions to be tailor-made for each class and students to maximize learning. It also promotes inclusive education to meet the needs of your students by giving the students the information in a way that they can understand, such as text, visually, or verbally.
The question that my literature review covers is, does personalized instruction increase student engagement? My literature review explores the concepts of information and communications technology and project-based learning as forms of personalized instruction as a means to increase overall student engagement. In addition, the literature review explores the need to consider the diversity of all students, including the context of the classroom. As personalized learning is focused on students' strengths and interests, the intervention strategy for this literature review is creating and implementing customized learning plans. To effectively carry out the use of ICT and PBL in classrooms, there needs to be a better understanding of students' backgrounds. As a result, learning becomes personalized, utilizing the strengths and interests of students, ultimately improving their overall engagement and response to classroom learning and the content being taught. This intervention assists in addressing both the personal and educational needs of students. Based on my individual data, there are a few things that I have found. These include the use of technology, particularly Chromebooks and computers, had a positive impact on the engagement and participation for the students that were in classes that utilized ICT in the lessons. Student A responded quite well to the use of PBL in the task of the lesson. Student B, who had no exposure to ICT and PBL in the lesson, seemed disengaged from the lesson. And student C responded well to the use of ICT and engaged in the task once computers were introduced into the lesson to complete their work. As I've collected the data, I believe that I'm in the analyzing data and forming conclusions stage. Although I have analyzed the data, I need to make conclusions so that it can refine the preparation for the next stage in the action research cycle, which is adjusting the theory and beginning again, or reporting the results.
My literature review looks at the high percentage of language background other than English students enrolled in New South Wales public schools, and the potential for teachers to utilise student background language in multilingual approaches to teaching. Looking at the literature, student attitudes towards multilingual teaching strategies prove to be an important factor in the effectiveness of such interventions. Thematic analysis of semi-structured interviews of LBOAT students could be used as a basis to design a teaching intervention for these students. From the interview data, two key themes are apparent. First, students seem to have negative opinions of multilingualism, and second, there are some context-dependent factors that prevent students from using their home language at school. These negative views of multilingualism are expressed through English as an additional language students declining to use their home language even when invited to by classroom teachers. In addition to this, the bullying of EAL students by non-EAL students implies the negative views of multilingualism non-EAL students also possess. The second theme was the phenomenon of students being dissuaded from using their home language by a range of factors. This included anxiety. Some students felt speaking their home language, bullying mentioned earlier, and parental expectations of students only speaking in English at school. This data would fit into the develop a plan of action phase of the action research cycle. Here, data has been collected on student views of multilingualism, and these views would be used to develop an intervention that would use multilingual teaching pedagogy to improve outcomes for EAL students.
Literature demonstrated that a student's background played an important aspect in their engagement in the classroom. Students from lower socioeconomic background were less likely to engage in education, had a higher dropout rate, and this led to a cycle. The COVID pandemic put a key emphasis on this, where students couldn't afford or had to share computers with family members and had issues in connecting to classwork, which fell them further behind. Data collected in schools demonstrated that students sometimes couldn't afford things to help with their learning or extracurricular activities, which affected their social learning. And this led to a bigger gap between those who could and couldn't afford a better education.
My literature review highlighted the significant benefits of personalized learning, emphasizing how it can cater to individual student needs, improve engagement, and enhance understanding of subject matter. The review pointed out the importance of technology, timely feedback, and learning at an individual pace in personalized learning environments. This aspect directly correlates with the survey question I designed, which asks students about their experience with these key elements of personalized learning. The beginning data indicated a need for more effective personalized learning strategies, better use for educational technology, and more frequent tailored feedback. The intervention was designed to address these areas, perhaps through teacher training in personalized learning strategies and better integration of technology in lessons. The post-intervention data shows significant improvement in student engagement, understanding of subject matter, and satisfaction with personalized learning methods. This suggested that the intervention were effective in addressing the identified needs.
For our proposed action research, our group has decided on the following data collection protocols that we think is most appropriate in the implementation of our intervention. The first protocol is surveys. This would be ideal at the beginning of the school year, which would fall early in the action research cycle. The benefits of this includes responses and results that are clear and easy to interpret. It is time efficient, and it is non-invasive if they are not comfortable with chatting with the teacher one-on-one. The second protocol is artifacts. This will be collecting artifacts before and after the intervention. This is to observe improvements throughout several weeks, and this is providing us with general work samples.
After analysing the data from this action research project, judgments would need to be made regarding the efficacy of the intervention. As mentioned previously, this would be based on comparisons between pre- and post-intervention artifacts, as well as exit surveys. Through this analysis, strategies that were effective can be utilised in the next action research project, and strategies that did not produce desired results could be discarded.
Ensuring continuous improvement from this intervention, especially in the personalized learning, involves several key steps that align with the principle of action research. These steps include ongoing evaluation, interactive adjustment, and incorporating feedback effectively. Here is how we could approach it. Continually monitor the progress of the intervention throughout the school year, not just at the beginning and end. This could involve regular check-ins with students and teachers, as well as periodic reviews of student work samples. Be prepared to make adjustments to the intervention based on the ongoing evaluations. For example, if certain personalized learning strategies are not as effective as anticipated, modify them or try alternative approaches. Encourage teachers to adapt their teaching methods as they become more familiar with individual student needs and preferences. Actively seek and incorporate feedback from all stakeholders, students, teachers, and parents. Organize regular meetings or focus groups with these stakeholders to discuss the intervention's progress and gather suggestions for improvement. Provide ongoing training and support for teachers. Their skills and understanding for personalized learning need to be continually developed. Create a community of practice among educators to share experience, challenges, and successful strategies. Based on this intervention, plan for the next circle of action research. Identify new areas for improvement or further research. Consider expanding this intervention to include additional elements or targeting other aspects of personalized learning. Share the findings and learnings from the intervention with the wider school community. This helps in building trust and encourage a collaborative approach to student learning. Consider how these learnings can be applied to other areas of the school or education practice.